Well, it was nice while it lasted. Goodbye, Miele W1 Excellence. And hello again to the Giantex portable washing machine. Hello. Yes, folks, after 1 year, 1 month, my lovely Miele W1 Excellence, which I've been very happy with until last Sunday, has been condemned. Do not switch on. Danger. So, how did this sorry tale start? Well, on Sunday, my iPad, I was in bed on Sunday morning, as one normally is, and I was browsing the interweb on my iPad, probably looking at vacuum cleaners, knowing me, and I got a message from my washing machine. A little notification came up saying there was a fault. Go and check your appliance, and it was showing a waterproof fault. So I came down and blamed my partner. What have you done to it? You've broken my lovely machine. Anyway, so after the fisticuffs, I did what anyone would do, had a bit of a cry, and then I cleaned the pump filters. The pump filters are behind this little door here, and to be honest, I don't think I've ever opened this and unscrewed them before. Naughty. So I thought, well, we'll see if there's a blockage or there's something wrong in here. Now, I believe this machine has two pumps. One is the pump that pumps the water into the machine, and the other is a recirculating pump that recirculates the water and detergent through the drum, through a nozzle just at the top. So I'm not going to unscrew them now because more water is going to come out. So I unscrewed those, had a look. There was nothing to write home about, just a bit of black gunk, hardly anything, and some sort of sandy material. Just nothing to write home about, just at the bottom. Anyway, I cleaned them all, cleaned it all out, tried the machine again, and I still got the error code. The next thing I did was to pull this very heavy washing machine out, and I managed to get some sliders underneath so it was a bit easier to move, and I left them for the service technician in case he had to move the machine out of its place where it lives. And when I moved the machine underneath, and I took a photo for future reference, underneath I was met with this mess, this brown liquid, plus in the middle of the brown liquid a very gloopy, oily substance. So the whole machine was pulled out, more brown liquid came out. I did put the machine on its side because I was hoping to see what was going on underneath. But I'd forgotten that it's sealed up underneath the Miele. It's not like a cheaper washer where there's nothing underneath. I think the Hoover washer I showed on my channel was open at the bottom. I thought I might just be able to look and just see if I could spot anything amiss. But I couldn't gain access without undoing screws and bolts, so I left it. But when I put the machine very carefully on its side, more brown, gunky liquid came out. When I put the machine back, it did work, because what I'd done, I'd emptied all the liquid that was in the bottom part. It's got a sort of dip in it, and liquid had gathered in that, which had made the waterproof system sense that there was a problem, and it stopped me from using the machine. But it did work because I had, it had all emptied when I tipped the machine. So in theory, I could have used it, but I didn't want to take that chance. So I went online. Because I bought this direct from Miele, it's still under guarantee. I went online, reported the fault, and the soonest I could get the technician was today, which is a Thursday. So it was booked on Sunday morning, and the technician has been within the last hour. And you'll know the more of the story of this because I posted it on my Instagram, so you can go and check my Instagram if you want to see how it happened in real time. I cannot fault the service technician. I even got a little animation of his van, and I knew exactly where his van was. When he was about 20 minutes away, I could go and check, and I could see his van going along, and I thought, why are you going down that road? You'd be quicker going down that road. But anyway, he did get to me, so I knew exactly when he was going to turn up. Very courteous, very polite. I explained what had happened. I showed him the picture of what was underneath. He was apologetic. He was great. He was thankful. He thanked me for leaving the sliders under the machine, so it was easy for him to pull out because he took the back off, and here's a picture of the back. I took a snap of it because after he'd pulled the machine out, he took the back off, he had a lot of absorbent sort of not like kitchen towels, you know, but thicker, and he'd placed that in the bottom, which the sump was still full of this brown gunk. So he said, oh, I've just got to go to the van. So he was at the van for maybe 10 minutes. I thought, what's he doing in there? Having a cup of tea? So I was waiting. He came back in. I started chatting again, you know, just talking about Miele and other washing machines and things and blah, blah. And I said, oh, will the guarantee, I said, because I thought he was going to repair it. I said, will the repair be guaranteed? You know, will it have a guarantee on the repair? And he said, no. He said, no, because we're sending you a new machine. He said, that's what I've been doing in the van. I've been getting authorization to have a new machine, because apparently it's corroded or caused damage to the bottom of the machine. So instead of repairing it, it's going to be replaced, probably with exactly the same model. If they don't have this model, I'll get an upgraded model. I won't get a lower model, I'll get this or better. And he said it probably will come with some detergent as well. So that's the good news. I'm not happy that it went wrong, but the fact that it's been replaced, because I think after seeing all the mess in the bottom, even though you would have dried it up and cleaned it up, it still would have been corroded. Even if that was cleaned up and he'd repaired the problem, I still will know that this lovely washing machine that still looks perfect on the outside had a dirty, rusty bottom, and it would have annoyed me. So the fact, although I'm going to have to wait a week or so for the replacement, which is a bit of a nuisance, and I'll come on to what I'm using to wash my smalls in a minute. Well, you've seen it. I'm going to show you that in action. It still works. So this has been do not switch on, do not use, so I'm not going to use it, even though in theory I could. But he's left the absorbent towels in the bottom of the machine anyway. He's just left them in there. So I'll tell you what has happened, what was explained to me, what has happened and why it's happened. And hopefully if you've got a Miele with twin DOS, if you do what the technician suggested to me, hopefully it won't happen to you. I chose this particular model purely for the twin DOS feature. Also, I wanted a 9 kilogram capacity and I wanted the power wash. So I went for this particular one. I liked the idea of having your detergent automatically put into the washing machine, so you're not putting in too much or too little. The machine's putting it in for you. So basically when I use this machine, I do use fabric softener mostly in most programs. I put a little bit of softener in here, plant-based softener, and then I just select the program. If it's tea towels, I don't use softener, but I normally select heavy soil, which I assume if you select heavy soil, it probably uses a bit more detergent. So you just tell the machine if you're washing whites or coloureds, and then it will mix the correct phase 1 and phase 2 detergent into the machine. And it's really worked for me very well up until last Sunday. So what I've been told, now Miele sell on their website a bottle. It's the same size as the detergent bottles, but it has some sort of maintenance cleaner in it. And from time to time, you're supposed to flush the system through using this. Now, the technician said 2, so you could buy 2 bottles and do it at the same time, but you can just swap the same bottle over. And there is a special program in the further programs setting on the main panel that you go down to flush out the system. And I thought you only had to do that if you were using a detergent other than Miele, because you can get empty bottles, Miele sell them, and you can put your own detergent in. And I thought it really only mattered if you were swapping over from a regular Miele detergent. But apparently it should be done, now the technician has said to me, should be done every 3 months. So believe you me, when I get my new machine, and I do have 1 bottle of this, but I might probably get another one, hopefully they'll supply one, I'm going to flush this out on a 3 monthly basis, or even just when I swap over the bottles, I'll flush out the system, because apparently it is a problem with a twin DOS, and it causes some pressure build up and it can get clogged up. And so what has happened, and I only realised this after the technician had gone, this is phase 1, and I knew this, it's got some in, there's still 1 or 2 washes left, that's nearly empty, and I knew it was nearly empty. Phase 2 was empty 2 weeks ago, completely emptied, so I put a whole new bottle of this in 2 weeks ago, and this would last me about 3 months or so, maybe a little longer or a little less, but normally I use more of phase 1 than phase 2. But when the technician had gone, he removed these from the machine. I noticed this was almost empty. So that liquid wasn't water leaking, it was basically more or less the whole bottle of this had leaked into the system somehow, into the well at the bottom of the machine, causing the sensor to say there's an error, and it's corroded, and that's why it was brown liquid that came out. I'm not really sure why. There was a big oily substance as well. I put my finger in it and it was definitely oil. I know what oil feels and smells like. So that's what's happened with my machine, sadly. Up until then, I've been very happy with it. Behind the camera, I've still got my 6-year-old Miele entry-level dishwasher. That's still going strong. So I would buy another Miele dishwasher. So it has, you know, it's put a little blot on my opinion of Miele, but I will not fault the technician that came. Very polite, as I said. The fact that they're going to replace this machine is very good. It's inconvenient that I'm going to be without a washer for another week, but very pleased with Miele service. I'll expect them to contact me to arrange a day that this will be collected, and I'm sure the technicians, the service people, whoever, they'll be fitting the new one, levelling it up, plumbing it in for me, making sure I'm happy, and then going. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. I'll do a follow-up video to this. So I've got lots of washing still to do, and I can't shove them all in my 9 kilogram capacity Miele. So I've had to get out my little portable single tub top loading Giantex washing machine. When the Miele went wrong, I knew I'd be without a washing machine for at least 4 days until the technician arrived. I did assume that it would be fixed today, but obviously it didn't happen like that. So I knew I had this in the garage. I thought I had my twin tub, the little Leisurewyze or Porter Wash. That's what I still have. So I was going to get that from the garage and just wash the stuff that way. You know, it's quite hands-on, but at least it's getting the clothes washed and spun, and it's better than hand washing. Unfortunately, I realised that that was in my storage unit, which I couldn't get access to, but I still remembered I had this. But of course, the law of sod, this was right at the back of a very full garage, so I had to move quite a lot of stuff to get this out. It was still in its box, and I was wondering if it's going to work or not. So it does work, and I have used this quite a lot yesterday, doing several loads. But I've had to compromise a bit because I haven't been able to plumb this in as it should be plumbed in. This is a relatively small capacity top loading washer, and it's light enough to lift. It's mainly plastic construction, does have a metal drum, and it has some carry recesses so you can lift it up. And it has a rotating agitator in the bottom that goes both ways. Similar to the twin tub, but it's much bigger. It fills mostly the bottom of this. The difference between this and the single tub is that the outer drum also moves round. I can't do it at the moment. Oh, there we go. So that moves as the washing machine's progressing. It just moves slightly, but it also means it will spin the clothes. And if this is properly plumbed in, it is more or less fully automatic. You put the clothes in with detergent, and for the load I'm going to do in this video, I've just got one of these Persil 3-in-1 biological capsules that I've just dropped into the bottom. If this was connected up to a tap, a mixer tap or a hot supply, it would be fine. And I have got it connected to a water supply, but unfortunately it's connected to my cold outdoor tap because that's the same fitting as a washing machine. This is supplied with a hose that a normal automatic washing machine would be supplied with. So you'd have to get some sort of adapter. Whatever tap or faucet you've got, you have to buy your own adapter, and I haven't found one. So basically this only fills with cold water, which is fine for rinsing, but not for washing. So to get round this problemo, what I do with this, I fill it manually with hot water using a bucket, and then turn on. And then the machine, as long as you put enough water on, the sensor inside will detect that it's got enough water, and it'll start to agitate the clothes. So that's what I'm going to do now. As I say, we've got my detergent and I've already got 1 bucket of hot water ready. So this is what I have to do in my instance. Pour the water in, and then there'll be several bucket loads to go in. I put 3 bucketfuls of hot water in the machine. If I was to turn it on now and select the program, it would sense that there's not enough water and it would start filling with cold water from this spout here. But I don't want to add cold water to this because I've got tea towels to wash and I'm using the hottest water I've got coming out of the tap. So it's about 1/3 full of water. So now I'm going to add some of my tea towels. This is a fairly big load, so I don't think it's going to do all these at once. So I'm going to add maybe half of it and then top it up with the rest of the water up to about the top of the tub once it's full of the tea towels. So I'll just drop them in, making sure that they're not all bundled up together. I think I can get more than that in. But I think if you put too much in these machines, it's just not going to agitate the clothes or the towels or whatever you're washing. It's not going to agitate them enough and they're just barely going to move in the water. I'll try another 2, but I think that'll do. Now that's pretty dirty. I'm not sure. Oh, hang on. What is that? I'm not going to sniff it. I don't know what that is, but that's... We'll try and remember that old tea towel. That's been used for something. That might not come clean. Not sure what that is, but anyway. So, as you can see, it's about half full. So I just need to top that up now with the hot water. So obviously, because I'm only connected to a cold supply, that's why I'm filling it manually. In theory, you don't need to connect it to any water supply, but it means then it's more like a twin tub where you have to be there all the time. If this is connected and plumbed in, this will wash, rinse and spin like an automatic. But without a water supply connected, you have to be around to watch the machine, watch it emptying. After the wash, it will empty and do 1 spin. So after that spin, you've got to open the lid and then pour in the water yourself manually until it starts moving the clothes around when you've reached the correct level. And you'll have to do that for however many rinses there are. And then after you've done the rinsing, you can just leave it to spin. But because I have got it connected to the cold supply, the wash stage is the only part I have to be involved with. I've put the detergent in, the hot water, I've put the towels in. So now I can turn the machine on here. With this machine, you can also select wash on its own, or wash and rinse, or rinse and spin, or just a spin on its own. And because this doesn't spin as fast as my automatic, I tend to do 2 spins. So once it's done the rinse and the first spin, I'll set it for a second spin just to extract a bit more water. Now, with this, I might try something different. Because these are pretty dirty, I'm going to run 2 wash cycles instead of 1. So what I'm going to do is select wash on its own, which takes 14 minutes. So it should just wash for 14 minutes and then I expect it's going to drain. I'm not sure if it's going to spin. I don't think it will. I think it's just going to wash and then drain the water. So when I press start, the machine's either going to start working straight away or it might decide to put a bit more water into the tub. But if it puts more water in, that water will be cold. But even if it does, I don't think it's going to put much in. It might have to put a little bit in to top it up. But we'll soon find out. I've never done this on this machine before, just to wash. So I'm assuming, we'll find out, that when I press start, it's going to wash for 14 minutes and then just drain and stop, ready for me to select either the other wash program or rinse and spin. So here goes. Normally you would close the lid of the machine when it's washing. In fact, if you're using this machine automatically, if you're setting it to do wash, rinse and spin, it won't spin without this down. So it will do a spin. When you're using a normal cycle, wash, rinse and spin, it normally spins after it's emptied the first wash water. So it will do a spin, which is a good thing, because the first spin will extract more of the soapy water. Then it will start to add the clean water for the first rinse, which comes out of this. And you can actually open the lid when it's filling with water. You just can't open the lid when it's spinning. And if it wants to spin and the lid's open, the machine will bleep to tell you, I'm not going to spin, you need to close the lid. As soon as you close the lid, it will start spinning. But as it spins in between each rinse, which is what a full-size automatic washer often does, some of them don't always spin after every rinse, it depends on the program, but it is a good thing that it does that, because the more it spins between rinses, the more of the soapy water it extracts. And when I was using this yesterday, I was quite surprised how clear the water was in the final rinse. There was no hint of any suds left. Okay, so what it's done the wash, it's stopped, it's beeped to tell me it's finished, but it's left the washing in the water, which is better than it pumping it out, so I'm quite pleased with that. So now I can select the wash process again, but this time I'm going to select wash, rinse and spin and allow it to do the whole wash for me. It's had a wash, so it's like a pre-wash for very heavily soiled items. So I'm going to use the same water, but just start it again. The power's gone off, so turn the power on. We've got by default wash, rinse and spin. I'm going to select the water level at high, close the lid, press start, and then when it's finished it should now do another wash cycle. I think it's 3 rinses and a final spin. Well, as you saw there, it did top up the water level a little bit with some cold water, but that's fine. So now I can basically leave it, so I don't have to attend to it anymore. When I next come to this machine, it should have done another wash cycle, as I said, 3 rinses and a final spin. Okie dokie, well that's the washing finished. The tea towels. Not sure where that really dirty one was. But they're certainly rinsed well. And there are a few marks, but even when I was washing tea towels on a 60 in the Miele, it didn't always get every mark out. But yeah, I'm so pleased I've got something else to wash my laundry. Quick update, while filming the video, I got an email from a manager at Miele confirming that my new machine will be delivered on the 3rd of May, which I think is a week from today. So, you know, I've got a week of using this, but so pleased I've got it. As I said, yeah, fairly dry. And, yeah, pretty happy with that. One thing to mention, if you want to add fabric softener, and I don't obviously with tea towels, but for other loads I do like to put softener in, you need to be around when the machine is doing its final rinse. So on the last rinse, you can open up the lid and, well, actually just wait until it's filled up, I suppose. You don't have to, but you can start putting a capful, just maybe half a capful of your fabric softener in the final rinse, and then obviously when it's spun you take the clothes out, you'll have the fresh fragrance you like. This is a nice one, Wilton, London. This is cedarwood. It's quite a different smell to your regular softeners, so look out for that if you can get it. I do recommend it. So that's it. I'll do some more washing with this. Pretty handy if you don't have space for a full-size machine and you don't like going to the laundrette. Something like this is very useful to have. Just to finish the video, I've discovered that there is a problem with the twin DOS mechanism on some Miele machines. Some people have put some pictures on my Facebook page when I posted about the problems I was having with my Miele, and it does seem that the twin DOS detergent, at least I don't know if it's Ultra Phase 1 or Ultra Phase 2, but it's one of these. This was certainly the one that's emptied into the floor of the machine, and it's a sensitive Ultra Phase 2. This is what causes the corrosion in the metal and can damage your floor as well. Fortunately my floor is okay, but it did damage somebody's floor. So if it corrodes metal, why is it not damaging your clothes? Because I've had no problem washing with these. I've not noticed any wear on my clothing. So it's odd. So I'm hoping Miele are going to get this sorted, either change the detergent or do something about the twin DOS mechanism, because yes, I've had reports that people have had their machines replaced multiple times and it's all been down to the twin DOS. So if you've got problems or have had problems with your Miele, especially a twin DOS machine, I'd be interested to know in the comments section. So Miele, forever better. Let's hope they take that on board, and I'm hoping that my replacement machine has been amended or some modification made, so I'm not going to get the same problem again. Fingers crossed, because I did like the machine until it went wrong. So if you have any comments or questions about this video or Miele washers in particular, please comment below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next video. Bye for now.